Hello once again, this is Emmanuel Kadri, your regular host on Break Into Tech, and in Python programming, in this lesson, we are talking about conditional branding, and this particular topic, in this particular lesson, we are just going to play with a few stuff, okay, and then just to see a few more things we could do with the combination of the if, the elif, and the else statements, and so let's see how it goes. Okay, in this example, we are going to be making use of the input statements to receive values from the user, and then once the user enters any value, we'll just walk around whatever the value is using the if, the elif, and the else statements. All right. Please take note, I'm recording live from home, and you could be hearing some background sound. No problem, it's all part of it. It's a festive period. Let's just enjoy it together. You just focus on me alone. All right, so back to class. Well, in this lesson, I am going to introduce you to the use of the input statement. If you didn't listen to the recording or the class that we had over it, okay, if you missed that class or you didn't watch the recording, or you're just a visitor, or you just jumped into this video and then here you are, you find yourself to learn something, then no problem, you are still covered, because I will just explain it briefly all over. All right, the input statement is used in Python programming to receive values from the user or to receive data from the user. And once this data is received, it is stored inside a variable which is attached to it. So you are the one that is going to do the work of the attachment. You are the one that will do everything, okay? So, which means, for instance, if I want to write a program, if I want a situation whereby when I run the program, I want Python to ask the user to enter something. So that thing that the user enters gets received and gets saved. So the very first thing I'm going to do is to create a variable that will collect the data from the user. So let me just say I create a variable called number. You can use any name you like whatsoever. You can even use letter X, letter Y, A, B, C. You can use anything. You can use your name. You can use whatever is it. So it is not restricted to number. But because I want to receive numeric values from the user, so I decided, just for memory purpose, for me to really, remember whatever I'm doing or to get along with the code so I don't get lost, then I just decided to use number. No problem, but you can use anything you like. So let me say number is equal. So the very first thing you do is to declare a variable, okay, that will collect the value, that will save the value from the user whenever the user enters such value. So the variable, so I've chosen to use number. So you say number is equal to input. All right, you open the bracket, and then you prompt the user on exactly what you want the user to do. So for instance, I want the user to just enter any number between 0 to 10. So I will just say, enter any number from 0 to 10. Enter any number from 0 to 10. So this is exactly what I want the user to do. So this statement, this thing I put in the argument in the bracket will just come up to the user immediately I run the program, and then it will prompt the user to do exactly what you have asked the user to do and provide a space for the user to impute the data. So once the user imputes the data, all right, the data gets collected and gets saved as number. Or let's just see what's going to happen. So if I run this program, for instance, you see it says enter any number from 0 to 10. Enter any number from 0 to 10. So the user just enters the number. Let's say he enters the number 3 or number 5, and then the program gets through whatever is it else what else you want the program to do, to just do with that particular value. And then it is good for you to note that any value that is entered by the user using this command, all right, using this statement, the value is always comes out as string. So which means if you need to do any numeric calculation with such value, then you have to cast it into integer or float, or into whatever is it, into integer or floats, okay, or complex, to perform any numeric calculation as desired. All right. So let's just quickly do a run through. Let's do a run through.
So if I can't keep as it.
All right. So let's run. Let's just run it just for you to see how it works. All right, just for you to see how it works, let us run the program, and then by the time you just run it, you see it prompts to prompt the user to enter any value from 0 to 10, and then once the user enters any value, you press the enter key. It will run or to do whatever is it that you ask it to do afterwards. But just because I have not declared anything else after this, so it will just return an empty line in the console, and that's it. But here, this is what I'm going to do. I will just for example, okay, I've not really reached where I'm going, but just example to teach you, to explain to you how the input statement is used for those who do not know about it before. All right. So if I say print number, or let me say print, you have entered number, then we write number as variable. Okay, so you have entered number. So you have entered number. So now let's see, by the time you run this program, okay, just to show you what's up, say press enter any number from 0 to 10. So let me say I enter the number 6, and then you press the enter button. So you see it says you have entered the number 6. Okay. Now if I just if I want a space between this entry and between this prompt and then the entry, okay, or and the print display, I could still do something like this. I'll use a \n. So the \n is just going to make sure that an empty space is left after the prompt. Then before it will display the outcome of this print statement. This is useful for any print statements too. It doesn't only work for the input, it works for the print statements. Okay, it works wherever you have string. All right, so we're still going to talk more about that later on another topic on strings formatting. So let's just run this program and see what happens. So it prompts you to enter any number from 0 to 10. So let's say we enter 7. You see, it says you have entered number 7. Okay. This apparently did not even have any effect. Although you will see the effects of it if you entered it probably on this one and there's something next to it. But don't worry, we'll talk more about that on string formatting. So let's just continue. All right, so if, for instance, I want to use this number to do something, let's say I want to use it for some calculation. All right, and say number plus 10. All right, so expectedly whatever is it as I enter as number here, okay, would be added, 10 would be added to it, and then would be displayed in the next line. So probably okay, so let's just see how it goes anyways. You run the program, and then you have this enter any number from 0 to 10. So let's say I enter 8. 8 plus 10 will be 18. So by the time you run the program, you see we are expecting to have 18, but we did not have 18, okay? But instead it is telling me that you can only concatenate string, not integer to strings. So it is expecting, but the reason why it happened like that is because whatever is it that is collected using the input statement always comes out as strings, always comes out as string. All right, so if you want it to come out in something other than string, then you have to cast it. For instance, I want it to come out as integer so that whenever I reach here, it is going to be able to perform the numeric calculation. So, but because initially it came out as a non-integer, non-numeric value, even though it is a number, in the memory of the of Python, Python is seeing it as a string. So we've done all of these kind of things in the past. So you may just refer to some old videos in this Python course. Some of our videos in this Python course that refer to that. Okay, so you can check the playlist and then you will see it. Any video relating to that. All right. So let's see. Then we have this number. So in just for you not to have that this traceback error and all that. So what you do is to cast it. So instead of it coming out as string, you make it to come out as what? As integer. So you put int and then open a bracket and close the bracket. So now, whatever is it that comes out from this place will definitely come out as an integer because you have cast it into an integer, okay, from string. So by this time around, you won't have that error again. So when you run this program, okay, it is going to ask you to prompt, it's going to prompt you to enter a value as usual. So when you enter something like 9, so we know that 9 plus 10 is 18. So it says you have entered number 9. And then, so you have this number. You can even make it interactive. You can say number, okay, number plus. Just put this plus as a normal plus, as a string. Number plus. Plus 10. Number plus 10. Put a comma here. All right. Number plus 10. Then you can make it, you can say equals as a string. All right. Number plus 10 equals as a string. Then you have number plus 10. Okay. So I have just told, I'm just trying to create something that is interactive. So whatever you enter as number will appear here as a number, all right? Then this plus comes as a number plus. This comma will create a standard spacing, a full spacing, and it is always ideal to separate the variables from the strings using comma. Apart from the fact that it gives a standard spacing, it will also avoid error. If you do not put the comma there, there will be an error, all right? To show that because you're confusing Python, making string to follow immediately with a variable. So Python gets confused with exactly what you're trying to do, and then it throws back an error. All right, so you put comma to put a space between the variable. You see that it's white, and then the string, which is green. All right, I put this string here, this string plus, because I want Python to display it actually as plus. So it doesn't display it as an operator, but it displays it as a state, as a word, as a character that will be displayed exactly the way it is, not exactly not as an operator that is trying to add something or concatenate something. Okay, so you say number, comma, number, then because you are switching again from variable to, but here this time around you're switching from variable to value. Okay, I can leave it as a string like this. It's better off this way. Yeah, good. Okay, as a string. So whatever is it that you enter as a number plus 10, okay, then you can just take this one off and take this off. Okay, good. So just say whatever you enter as a number plus 10 is equal to, you see that everything is string, so it should just come out directly exactly the way you have typed it. Then separate, that is, then this comma separates it because you are going back again to the variable, which is still variable number. Okay, then plus 10. So this place is a numeric, it's an arithmetic area where whatever is it that you entered as a number, okay, will be added to 10. Okay, so if you add number 10, 10 will be added to 10, and then the result will come out. So this place, this area I highlighted here is a calculation area. From here to here is a string. Why this one is a variable, okay, which you get passed from whatever is it the number, whatever is it that the user imputes. Okay, so let's just see what happens next. By the time you run this program, okay, it prompts you as usual, enter any number between 0 to 10. So you enter the number 6 and then you put it there. It says you have entered number 6, and then you say 6 plus 10 is equal to 16. So just as you said, number which is 6 plus 10 equals, so number which is 6 plus 10 equals, then this calculation area, okay, 6 gets into this place and it gets added to 10 and it gives us 16. So you see that? So that's how it goes. Okay, now in that case, I just use this opportunity to teach you. You can also use it to enter anything whatsoever. Use to receive any value from the user. I just seize this opportunity to explain the input statement, but that is not exactly where I am going. Okay, but I think I would just rather rename this place as input statements revisited. The inputs, sorry. Let me just rename it as input statements. Input statements revisited. Okay, good. All right, so for more on input statements, you can just check the lesson dedicated to it in previous classes. So, okay, good. Let me just use camel casing statements or revisited. Okay. That's Pascal casing. Okay, good. It's okay, fine. Everything is fine now. So I guess I will just have to end this class to move into the class where we'll talk about the other examples. Okay. So I just explained this because we are going to be needing it in some of the examples I want to do with you. All right. Bye for now. See you in the next video.